Hi, thanks for spending some time with me again today. We're going to be looking at another exercise from Matt Francke's book. Let's see, this one is Grooming the Beast, I think. It's the second book in the series. And it's single tonguing exercise number 1. Now, a little true confession here. Tonguing has never been a strength of mine, and I've worked on it a lot. And so I need to do this exercise quite a bit. And to be honest with you, I need to practice it more than I have for the session today. But that helps me to help you because I figure some of you might have difficulty with this kind of thing as well. And I might be able to make some suggestions that help you to guide your practice so that you can make progress. It's not fun to be stuck. And I get stuck pretty easily in this area. So I'll just go ahead and play the first one, and then we'll take a little bit of a closer look at it. Well, that was pretty rough, as usual. I need to get loose. So what are some of the things that I would do that you may find effective as well to work on this? First, it starts with releasing the flow. So this is about easy airflow. And we're worried about the tongue. We're concentrating on the tongue. We're listening to the sound of the articulation. And in a sense, those are all distractions because the main thing that you want to be able to do is flow. Now, this exercise is particularly well designed, I would say, because he has you slurring and tonguing, and he has you changing dynamics, and he has you changing range. And those three things together, for most people, that's a little bit of an overload. So what I do is I take some of the load off. For example, I'm going to play it as if it's a musical phrase, and I'm going to leave out the articulation to start. I did it louder, I did it softer. And of course, give yourself some help by trying it easier ways first. For example, he starts you in the middle of the staff on a C, and then going up to the G, down to the middle G, and then gradually working your way down. You could go to a lower one, or the octave lower or close to that, and work from that end if it makes it easier for you. Now, we think, well, we think we're heroes, we want to overcome against all odds. But actually, finding an easier path is pretty smart. So what makes it easier for me to do this? Well, I'm going to play it at a comfortable volume first. Once I have it completely smooth, then I'm ready to start working on something else. I might bring the articulation in. I'm going to keep it at the higher volume where I feel like it's easier to find my balance and keep the sound. Now, be listening for quality here. You want this quality of the sound to remain constant. Whatever the color of the sound is, whatever the shape and the size of the sound is, whatever the volume of the sound is, you want that to remain constant. That in itself is a pretty high level skill. And if you can't do that, you're going to be probably fighting when you add other stuff in. Why is that important? Well, it's not that you'd want to do that musically necessarily. You might want some shape or some sense of direction. So you're not going to be playing it with exactly the same sound going through all the way. But it's great exercise to do that. And it shows you whether you actually have the control that you need in order to do those musical ideas that you may want to do. Let me play another one. I'm going to just try and keep the sound the same. A little bumpy, a little bumpy. You see how I'm playing with it? I'm working on the one thing. Can I get a continuous flow, easy sound, not slotting the notes too harshly, fluid kind of playing? When I'm doing that, probably my body's going to be more open and more relaxed. If it's not, you can keep practicing that, just releasing tension, letting go until it feels like you're singing this. Now, I know this is about articulation, but for me, everything starts with flow and the resultant sound. So for me, another one of the big challenges is if I start playing this and I'm not warmed up, which I'm not really warmed up now. I've been teaching this morning and I didn't have time to get a good warm up in. Probably should have done that before doing this video, but you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as they say. I'm going to go ahead and want to get loose a little bit. So I'll play it at a higher dynamic level, as I said. And I'm not going to worry about a lot of the details. I just want to have that feeling of getting loose. Can I just flow and make sound? So this exercise is very specific. Piano, forte, you're listening to the articulation. There's a lot of precision demand. And when you're trying too hard to be precise, sometimes you lose the feeling of the basic throw. And throwing is what you're doing. You're throwing the air all the way through. That's actually the main thing to concentrate on. Now, what's something else that I would use to make it easier? I'm not going to go as fast. Well, that's a simple solution. So let's find out where the single tongue is comfortable before I go charging into this piece. I'll check out the 16th notes. And I might want to check the metronome on that. Now, one of my fine colleagues, Chris Gecker, who I played with in the Kansas City Philharmonic, when it was the Philharmonic, back in the 70s, has a 1-minute tonguing drill that he suggests. And that's a great way to work on stuff. So there you're starting at a moderate tempo and seeing how long you can articulate. That would be great preparation for doing this. Unfortunately, I didn't do that to warm up this morning, so here we are. But I'm going to see what I can do now. So let's call that something you can try is when you flow the air out, also flow the air back in. This is helpful because a lot of us tongue like this, where we're actually blocking the air with the tongue. And you need to learn how to get the tongue out of the way and just touch with the tongue. However you touch with the tongue in such a way that you can touch very lightly and release. Otherwise, you end up blocking the air. And for me, that's one of the big problems. I'm going to go back to the beginning again and do it slower. So I can also switch to double tongue if I want. And what I do is I mix articulations all the time when I'm practicing, because I need to. And K articulation for me is really important. So I might do a K articulation variation. Let me pick a lower one. That'll make it a little bit more difficult for me. Some of my students say it feels like their tongue is sticking. If you think more about the vowel, and just let the tongue relax. So that's all messing around with K. No. So the key to all articulation is when the tongue releases, it does so instantaneously. And what does it release to? It releases to the same mouth shape, the same posture, the same relaxation, the same everything as when you're playing your easiest, most beautiful sound on a given note. If you have tension in there, it's going to inhibit your ability to get the result. So this exercise gives you a great opportunity to do enough repetitions in order to practice some of those things. But first you have to start noticing it. This is not about, what you can do now. It's about how you can improve what you can already do, how you can build on it to get to the next level of musical expression. That's what all exercises, in my mind, are for. So I hope some of these things give you a few ideas that you can apply when you're practicing. I need to practice this a lot more, and maybe I'll do another session on it when I get better. In the meantime, I suggest that you go and try and get better as well. So if you have time right now, go ahead and practice and try to do this exercise. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think you even need the music, but I do recommend that you check out Mr. Francke's books, all of the Beast series. And I wish I'd known when I bought it to begin with that they were going to be in a collection. That was not available when I first purchased, so I bought all four separately, which is a lot more expensive. So if you're a value-minded person like me, go ahead and buy the whole collection. You can't go wrong with it unless you don't use it. The only way you can make a mistake with spending money on this product is if you don't apply it to your own practice. So go do that now. I'll catch you later on when you're in a good mood and have some time to spend with me. Have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.